Tribal tourism. Tourism is a form of traveling in which tourists travel to distant places for pleasure and experience of host places, culture, tradition, lifestyle, nature and environment. Whereas anthropology is the study of man in totality, which involves study of humans' biology as well as cultural social aspects. Tourism is a fairly new phenomenon started back in 17th century in Western Europe, which is different from exploration in this tourist travel predetermined beaten paths and benefit from existing infrastructure from and provision. Generally tourists were isolated from difficulty and danger. It overlaps with other processes like pilgrimage, which keeps set category like business tourism, ecotourism, medical tourism and etc. We can also call tourism a form of traveling in which travelers seek for pleasure and experience in a host place's nature, culture, lifestyle, tradition and environment. Tourism is a form of traveling in which people travel to distant places for experiencing a tourist site's culture, tradition.
And environment. Degree tourism is the largest and the booming industry around the world. Tourism provides livelihood to a variety of people, including drivers, sanitation workers, waiter, etc. Degree tourism is a phenomenon provides opportunity to both host and the guests to influence each other and interact, whereas anthropology is the study of mankind in totality. Social cultural study is an important aspect of anthropology. Though the process of tourism and the two cultural groups comes in contact with each other, therefore tourism is the subject matter of anthropology.
Tribal tourism. Hollow circle. The United Nations defines indigenous or tribal communities, peoples and nations as those having a historical continuity with pre-invasion and pre-colonial societies that developed on their territories, are distinct from other settler groups and want to preserve, develop and transmit to future generations their ancestral territories and their ethnic identity. This historical continuity is based on occupation of ancestral lands, common ancestry, cultural practices and language. Indigenous people are also economically and culturally marginalized and often live in extreme poverty. Tribal tourism is a showcase of tribal life, art, culture and heritage. Tribal tourism enables interaction between the tourists and the local residents for an enriching experience. Indigenous tourist attractions include museums and cultural villages, nature-based tours, indigenous fairs and festivals or events and art galleries. Cultural, environmental and spiritual aspects of indigenous heritage and traditions are especially featured in indigenous tourism. Modern India has many indigenous tribes that even today have been able to retain their primitive customs, and their lives are directly associated with their natural surroundings. The tribals in India are the pro-environmental communities who are fighting to protect rivers, lands and forests that are the sources of their livelihood. The Santals are one of the oldest tribals living in India. Again, the northeastern tribes of India are known for their traditional songs and dances, their colorful handmade clothing and intricately woven bamboo handicrafts. Tribes in India